Yun Chief said poor opportunities than their peers can limit future opportunities. Our today's mission is to prevent child poverty through words. It's not just in the government's hands, but it is also in our hands. One of their hindrances is their lack of voice in reaching out to the government. And tayo, mga pinagpapala, can help by lending our voices. This 2022, the rate of Filipino children experiencing poverty has been increased because of their parents being unemployed or poor, that creates a poverty cycle. The children that have little to access basic things to survive in the society and lack of government support.
Now, we can say that there is a connection between child poverty and the unemployment of the parents of these children. Now, most children are dependent on their parents as they are the ones providing the basic needs in order for these children to survive in this life and in order for them to experience equality living. However, due to the unemployment of these parents, it is possible for these children to experience cycle of poverty. And when we're talking about cycle of poverty, this is wherein a child is simply born into a family that is already experiencing the phenomenon itself, which is poverty. And it is possible for these children to experience poverty once again throughout their lives because of the lack of financial support from their parents. Now, it is even more concerning that there has been an increased rate of jobless people around the world, that it has already reached the number of 223.67 million, all according to Aaron O'Neill's research. Now, because of the incapacity of these parents to provide the basic needs for their children, this might reduce children's chances to lead successful lives. Children are also experiencing the lack of access to basic essentials as well. A reminder that these children who are already experiencing poverty are mostly affected with the increased inflation rate. According to a senior economist at the China Banking Corporation, Dominic Velasquez, stated that there has been an increased inflation rate from 7.7% to 7.8% in November, meaning that the situation of the families and the children have become much worse because of the increased difficulty in obtaining their basic essentials such as water, food, even healthcare and education. Now, the overall government has the authority and the ability to solve the societal issue with enough support. However, 2.9 million families and children feel the lack of support of the government, all according to the research conducted by Rappler, as these families are suffering from severe hunger to the point that they have not yet eaten for 3 months straight. As for the education of the children, several public schools are still experiencing the lack of learning resources and satisfactory classrooms that are going to be used by the students, and even delayed wages of the teachers. Furthermore, the ones who lack privilege are the ones mostly affected by the lack of the government's assistance.
The government is placing resources into solving poverty. Poverty, however, is a big issue that cannot be solved quickly. As shown in researches, around 31% of children live below the basic needs poverty line, with a much higher figure, 63%, in the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao, or ARMM. Access to education is encouraging, yet an estimated 2.85 million children aged 5 to 15 remain in primary school and 68% in secondary school. Whilst there are progress being made in solving poverty, poverty itself is a big issue that the government cannot solve or cannot fix in a single day.
The growing rate of child poverty happens due to the cycle of the poverty. It starts with the parent of the child and the child having a struggle on acquiring the basic survival needs, and the government's support is not being sufficient enough to support the child.
The social standing of a child today can have an impact on their future development because children, unlike adults, cannot obtain independent sources of income and are more likely to perpetuate a cycle of poverty. The next generation is viewed as the hope of the nation, meaning that the government should at least establish a decent quality of life because they have the authority to provide necessities for these children to succeed in society and to escape poverty.